and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher, and well, Diwali is around the corner. We all expected the England-Australia game to be like that Sutali atom bomb, but it's just shaped up to be like this anar that never fired, But well, it is England and Australia. Australia will be playing for the Q next to their name, and England will be playing for honor and pride. Let's welcome our guests to the studio. We've got DK and Zach in today. Zach, just a game everyone had so many hopes pinned on because it was this big game, but England decided to do things which no one's understood in this World Cup, haven't they?
Still is going to be a good game. There's no doubt about it because it's England and Australia. It's like India, Pakistan playing against each other. That's the kind of rivalry they have. So every time they face each other, that edge to the game is always there. So you will see that today also. It's no different to any other game that way. I think England would want to play for pride, yes, but more importantly, they'll be playing against Australia. So at least the moral win which they can take back home is going to be this win for them. And Australia, for them, it's more important that they secure this victory, get these 2 points and move ahead in their campaign. Their campaign didn't start the way they would have liked it to be, but they're still in comfortable position. England still not playing the kind of cricket which we all know them to play. So that's something which Australia will be hoping, in spite of the injury concerns which they have. I think they will be looking ahead to this game, knowing that England is not in best of the forms.
DK, just like Zach is saying, it is England versus Australia. England is sitting down there. It's really hurting them. But a loss against Australia will hurt and just add that mirchi to their wound, because they would really want to win, especially because it's Australia. Australia, on the other hand, can't be complacent because they haven't got the Q next to their name. And that freak injury that Maxwell's had, Mitch Marsh is going back home. So Australia also have to kind of pull their socks up for this game.
I mean, look, from my point of view, I don't know why you feel this match is like an anar, but I'll tell you one massive context. If England lose this game, two things will happen. A, the knives will be out for a lot of the players and a bit of the support staff too. That is a major reason. B, the Champions Trophy qualification could be under threat. Now, these are two massive reasons to play for. And on top of that, they're playing Australia now. India, Pakistan, England, Australia are probably the two greatest rivalries going around in sport. So that is a lot at stake. Ideally, we would have expected a lot more because it could have been, if England had a good tournament, it would have been a very different context. But I still feel there's a lot of context. If you do look at that points table, two things are very glaring. One, the fact that New Zealand playing the way they're batting right now could mean that Pakistan, if they don't have a good game, if New Zealand win today and Australia win today, 4 teams are knocked out. England, Netherlands, Sri Lanka. They are gone along with Pakistan. The only team that will be left in contention after that is Afghanistan. The rest of the 4 are gone for the tournament. So today's game has a lot of context. The first game happening today is an important one for Pakistan and definitely for New Zealand as well. But this one has a lot more pride in store for a team like England, and the fact that there is a lot of heat that they've come under. Got to understand they announced the contracts at the wrong time, probably a retirement as soon as that was announced, and you could see David Willey not being too impressed with what was happening around at that stage. Add to the fact that Joss Buttler, Ben Stokes, there's a lot that's going on in England cricket. It's a bit like India-Pakistan when we play. I think in World Cup, somewhere deep down, a lot of the fans are like, "Okay, if you don't win the semi-finals, it's okay, but please beat Pakistan." I'm sure England are a bit like that. I know you've not qualified, but somehow try and beat Australia, and that will be a major tick box for them.
Just like how you spoke about things not going right for England, some things have not gone right for Australia because, well, Glenn Maxwell had that fall off the golf cart. So, Zach, Maxwell, we know what he can do with the bat. He is the big show. But also Maxwell, the bowler, I feel. So Australia is going to miss both Maxwell, the batter, and the bowler a lot.
I think bowler more. That is something which we've seen. They were anyways a spinner light. When they got into this tournament, maybe Agar would have provided that balance or added that strength to that bowling lineup when the conditions demanded it. But Maxwell was fulfilling that job brilliantly for their team. Not just containing, but also taking those wickets. We've seen that he was very consistent with taking those wickets in the middle overs. We've seen how important middle overs are for any team which is doing well in this tournament. We've seen the middle overs. They're able to squeeze other teams. They're able to take wickets, control the game in that middle phase. So from that point of view, I think Maxwell, the bowler, will be missed more because other than that, they have that balanced pretty much sorted.
I think that, in fact, is very good that Zach is saying that, because Maxwell, the bowler, is surely going to be missed. And that's where Travis Head needs to stand up today. You know, he's batted well. I think he's got to have a major role to play. You got to understand Ahmedabad is a big ground. And England haven't actually played spin well on this trip. They've actually not played well anywhere, but spin more so. They've really struggled. So, and the fact that leg spin has been an Achilles heel throughout for some time now, Zampa and Head have a massive role to play.
Well, England has gotten off to a winning start. They've won the toss. They've decided to bowl first in Ahmedabad. Let's have a look at their playing 11. Zach, they've gone ahead without any changes. No surprises there, because this is a team they wanted to back, and they've decided to back the 11 that...
It's been that kind of campaign for them, isn't it? That they've tried everything in the first half of the tournament. They did all the chopping, changing. Now it's just come to a point where they're saying, okay, we just gone back to what they've been believing in, which is packing the batting side, having bowlers who can bat, and look to win games with bat. And that's the reason they've been preferring to bowl first. You've seen right throughout the tournament, even the crucial games, the game against South Africa, everyone have been talking about that South Africa can choke under pressure if they've not chased down the totals that convincingly. So they missed that trick because they didn't have enough confidence in their bowlers. That's the way they've been playing.
Yes.
And I think that is not going to change for now. They will want to now just go back to the processes and the approach and whatever has been the success formula for them, which is being aggressive with the bat, look to have that positive intent, put bowlers under pressure, and no matter what the situation is, you just keep looking for those big shots. I think you will see that kind of England side playing today.
But, you know, just like you're saying, they haven't played well, not batted well, not bowled well, and Ben Stokes said that they've been playing like crap. But these are not our words. Ben Stokes has said this, and we've seen how they've played, but this is what he had to say. So besides the fact that he said that, to be honest, we've played like crap, everything we've tried to this World Cup has just not worked. So, you know, DK, all the players actually have been saying that we can't blame the coach and support staff because we came with plans and they've just not worked. So this is something that Ben Stokes had to say.
Look, I think he's been a very honest leader as well, and you can see the honesty coming through here as well. And I give them credit. I remember seeing this video by Mark Wood, where he's completely suggested that, look, what we have been doing 7 years in terms of what the analyst, the coach, the captain has provided, it's been the same. We have been poor in this World Cup. And from a personal point of view, I think I've had a very, very poor World Cup, and I would love to change it. I know a lot of people are hurting, and I give credit to Mark Wood for being honest. Sometimes in these sort of situations, players just tend to point their fingers at others, and it's never a good situation. But I credit English players for standing up and saying, you know what, we've had a bad World Cup, we've been pathetic, and we'll try and turn it around in the time that we have. And then the decisions to, you know, whatever they want to do in terms of how the English future for ODI cricket stands will be taken into account a little later of the tournament. And you know, I'm very happy that there are players who are able to accept the fact that they've had a bad tournament. I think a lot of players across, across time have always been great with praise. I think they always take it very well, but can be a little precious with criticism. It doesn't sit well with them. But it's good to see the English players and the senior ones say that, you know, things have not gone well. And that's bound to happen. I think there are going to be at least a couple of teams, if not three, every World Cup who have not had a good tournament. That's how the sport is. So it's understandable. They've had a very ordinary tournament, and Ben Stokes coming out and saying what it is as it is, you know, you got to give him a lot of credit for that. And that's the way he's led England as well in the limited time that he's been a test match captain.
Well, the English media can be pretty harsh, Zach. So, you know, for them to come out and be honest the way they are. Butler, actually, when he came to the World Cup, he said, yes, we are defending champions, but we are not going to take the pressure of what happened in 2019. They have almost 8 players, if I'm not wrong, that have repeated in this World Cup. But they've lost 5 games on a trot now. So this is the worst campaign that England's ever seen in World Cup history.
And this side is far better than that. You know, we've seen what this side can do, and that's why. So when you know a team which is not expected to win and they go on to win, you appreciate that because you see progress. And with England, you are expecting that they're going to be one of those front runners for the trophy, and they will be one of the few early teams to qualify for the semis, like how you've seen with India. They're saying these are the India and England are the 2 toughest teams, contenders, which can go through and have a very smooth World Cup. Doesn't matter what kind of conditions they're playing in. So when you're talking about a team like that, and when you're seeing these numbers and results, obviously everyone is going to be frustrated, disappointed, and that those expectations of your countrymen is always going to be there. The fans are disappointed because they know that this team is far better than what they've delivered. So whatever the reasons were, whatever the concerns are, they need to definitely go back to the drawing board and figure out whether they've been giving World Cup enough importance, whether the preparation they could have done something differently, the planning, the execution certainly has not been there. That is evident for everyone. The form of the players, batting has not clicked at all. So all those are very glaring facts which are out there for everyone. But what went behind that caused this kind of a performance by a team? Only those guys which are in the close vicinity,
Yes.
in the dressing room, the decision makers, they will know that. So I think after the World Cup, it's going to be their work of taking notes of what has happened and then planning for future is the process which we are expecting from them.
Well, England has surprised one and all because they were in everyone's top 4 because it was so obvious with the team that they came into. But now let's have a look at Australia's playing 11 for today. 2 obvious changes. DK, we know the 2 people who are missing out. So Cam Green and Stoinis comes in. They had to get these changes in. But Cam Green at 3, do you see him playing there today?
Whether Australia are thinking that or not, in Cricbuzz, everybody believes that he should be at 3. When his name has come, they put him at 3. Since yesterday, the topic has been Cameron Green should bat at 3. He's been fabulous for Mumbai Indians at number 3. He looks like one of those players that they're going to keep for a long, long time because he is the package that most franchisee teams look for. He can bat up top, he can bowl 140 clicks and a terrific fielder, and add to that, he's a great guy who's a superb team man as well. So he's got all the skills, but post the IPL, he's actually had a tough time. He's lost his place in the Test team. He's not had a great run in T20s. And ODI format, he's again lost his place to Stoinis. But today, he has an opportunity. I genuinely wish that they send him at 3 because it solves 2 problems. One, it gives consistency to the Steve Smiths and Marnus Labuschagne to bat at 4 and 5. And 2, I think Cameron Green is much suited to play in the power play, play attacking cricket and come out of it and then play spin than go in at 6 and 7 to play, spin at the start, which I think at this point of time, his game is not still ready for that. And I think Mumbai Indians used him very wisely and he was very effective. Whereas Australia, I think, have found it hard to figure out where to fit in a Cameron Green. They've played him at 6. Clearly, that's not his spot. It'll be interesting to see if they think like Cricbuzz. We'll know in an hour, I guess.
Well, you said MI used them very wisely. We have the wise man sitting right here. But Zach, you've known him personally as well. He's someone who's very young, and this whole year, he's gone back home just twice. So his workload management has, it's been a lot of work on him. Someone so young, you know him personally. How difficult is it on a player when you're away from home for so long?
See, for an all-rounder, to start with, I think, the first part is being an all-rounder is not an easy discipline to live up to. So you have to constantly be on top of your game, push the boundaries, be physically fit and ready. To add to that, now you're saying he's not gone home for a while, so which is basically bringing the mental aspect, the psychological effect of things when you're not gone home, not chilled with your friends, not had your routine which you usually enjoy, the switch off, the reset, getting a fresh mind into it, all those things go a long way in terms of at times making you stale also.
Yes.
But it's about management, and I think this guy has been managing it pretty well. He had that concussion scare also in South Africa. That is something which was tricky. Like, once you have that kind of a scare, then at times you don't come out of it strongly. We've seen players crumble after that. He's not shown any signs of that, which is a great thing. It shows that he's a mentally tough kid, and his ability, everyone knows. He's got a skill set which everyone is going to be excited by, and he's proving that he's ready to take the load of things by showing that he's not been around back home for a while, but understanding that this is the professional sport which he's playing, and there are going to be demands of professional sport and the expectations and responsibilities he has to live up to. So he's doing a good job, I think, of that.
Yeah, DK, but I've always, wanted to understand how it is for players because we as fans watch games and there's so much criticism and there's so much praise, but especially when things don't go right, we don't really see what happens behind the scenes, right? To be away from your family for like 8 months on a trot, it's not easy when you're that young.
100%. Now, you have to also factor in a couple of things. The travel. I think, waking up, packing up, every time heading to the airport, sitting on an airplane, sitting in lounges, going to the next destination, again unpacking. It is tedious work. Two, it's very interesting what Zach said. Spending time with your parents, with your friends, in between series, in between matches, is extremely important. It actually at times is very underrated. We constantly keep speaking about reset button. When you're just running the treadmill every day and going through the same thing, your mind actually at times becomes so jaded, and it becomes, in a way, it actually doesn't work at the full capacity that it can. And add to the fact that you're playing high intensity, high pressure cricket, which is with what most international sportsmen do. It's never easy. People sometimes just when they look at the schedules, when people comment on these schedules, they just say, "Arey, itna hi match hai." 100 days and 365 days is nothing, which basically means you're out for about 250 days. And then the rest of the 110 days is spread over 12 months. So you're spending 3 days at home, 4 days at home. Add to the fact that in between that you'll have, some NCA camp, something else that's happening. So there is literally no time for the modern day international cricketer to spend at home or do things which is very simple, very boring, but he enjoys doing. That is out of the window. So when cricketers actually start a family and they have a young family, it gets that much harder, because the one thing you can't do is expect the family to travel with you and do what the cricketers do. It is very hard, and if you have a young one, it gets even tougher. So I know from experience that is one of the toughest aspects of cricket, and that's why when sometimes a rather fleetingly some pundit or somebody might say that this workload management is not right, it doesn't need to be looked upon. I would love them to go through what these cricketers go through for them to understand how tough it is. It is hard, and even on coaches, literally, I don't know who's going to become the next coach, and I hope they look at it in a holistic manner, because so much of travel is involved in preparation, planning. It is a real tough gig, and it is the toughest aspect, more so if you're an Indian cricketer, because we play a lot more cricket as well. So we will come to a place where we will see cricketers more often than not pick and choose what they can play. It's impossible to play the whole year.
Well, Maxwell's done a smart thing. He's married an Indian. He spends a lot of time here during the IPL. So at least that's a smart thing that Maxwell's done. But let's move on to Australia's top order, because they've been the backbone for Australia. Zach, Travers Head came in. He made heads turn, that 175-run partnership with Warner that he had. Will it be a little different today because there's no Maxwell and Mitch Marsh? Will they kind of change their tactics around today and settle in and play a little slowly?
I don't think so. I think they'll continue with the same kind of approach, and that's why so desperately they wanted Travis Head to be part of this squad. You have to go back and see how the lead up to the World Cup. He got injured in South Africa, and after that they still said, okay, even if he's not available for first 3-4 games, we still have enough faith in him and what he's bringing to the table for this team. We're going to back him through and through. So they took that call, knew that okay, they are spinner thin. Looking at the schedule, and Travis Head has responded beautifully. I think his first game was the announcement and showing that trust which selectors have showed in him. It was his time to repay that, and he's repaid it brilliantly. The whole team is looking different. Warner is also looking different because of Travis Head. Maybe sometimes you have that understanding between the two partners batting together, that they know the formula, or it's like each other's comfort zone. It's something like that, the glimpse of that which we got from that partnership, and from there suddenly this team is looking different. Yes, right now they have this challenge of forced changes which they've done now in the team, but the overall balance of the squad is still looking really good of that playing 11.
But DK, it's so difficult for a bowler to target him, those slog flicks that he hits, and he's just so aggressive. So it's almost like, where does a bowler bowl to him?
As a bowler, it can get hard to bowl to him unless there is something in the pitch where it's moving a bit, then you have a chance. If it isn't, because he's not someone who you can just bowl length and get away with, because what he does is gets under the ball to hit over the top, and his basic strength is square of the wicket. He cuts beautifully and he plays the pick-up pull very well. He's actually not a great player of short ball. I mean, when it's directed correctly, he's gotten out many times, and that's been an area where he has been vulnerable. But what he has learned to do is have that as a deficiency, but still work around other areas which will, in many ways iron out the deficiency. So what he started doing, ramping it over the keeper, which is something he does. He's always a beside the line player. So you have to cramp him exactly by going wide of the crease and not give him any room. Because if you bowl on the off stump, unlike other players, it's room for him. He cuts the ball, or he just throws his hands at it. That's why you'll see a lot of boundaries over point, over extra cover. He is actually a very tough bowler, and the best part about him is fearless. He is okay to get out. He's like, I will play this way. I'm expected to give my team this kind of start. It's worked for me in Test cricket. So I'm going to go with this as my method, and he's been very successful. It's not like he's been one of those players who are not consistent. In Test cricket, he's been consistent. In ODI, he's been consistent. You look at that partnerships that they have stitched together over a period of time, and having David Warner as your partner, still be the aggressive one, actually says a lot about your skills. I'm surprised he hasn't yet made it to IPL, but I'm very, very confident he'll be there in one of the teams very, very soon, because the skills that he possesses in terms of not only batting up top, being a left-hander, can give you off-spin as well, and he's improved tremendously. So he's a great player. He's someone that Australia have banked, and I believe that these are the moments where you need to credit Australia for having the foresight to say it's okay, even if he's available to me only in the last 2 matches in the semi-finals, I will still back him, because he can make a difference, and he has already in the first game that he's got 100. Today he's going to bowl as well, so he's got a big role to play.
He's got a big role to play, but interestingly, you spoke about the deficiency against the short ball. Zach, do you think Mark Wood is finally going to come to the party? Because he's been completely off color this World Cup. We know what he did in the last World Cup, but this World Cup, he just doesn't seem to have come strong.
Yes, he has not been in greatest of the forms, but he's still got pace. And it can work against head for sure. Now, the only question is, are you going to be flexible enough to bring Wood into the attack as soon as possible?
True.
So that is something which England today, if Travis Head is going, you have to be proactive. You can't wait for 10 overs or 15 overs. So far in the tournament we've seen, England have had this very set template. Willie is going to bowl with a new ball, then Vokes is going to come, and then Adil Rashid is going to come, and then Wood is going to be brought into the attack, especially in that 15 to 25 around that he'll bowl one spell. You've seen when they were defending a low total also, they were not proactive enough to get Wood into the attack as soon as possible. So that is the limitation. Is England flexible enough or no? That we have to wait and see. But if Wood is going around the wicket and firing in exactly the same line what DK was mentioning, which is going wide of the crease, getting into his right shoulder, and that's how he got injured. So if an injured player coming back, he will be thinking about it psychologically. To a certain bowlers, he will be able to get through, but if you have that extra pace, you can definitely trouble him. But how quick England are ready for that challenge is something which we have to wait and see.
It's a great point, I tell you. And why I say it's a great point is they did exactly what Zach said in Ashes. And I think 2 out of the 3 innings, they got him out doing that. One, he hit straight to third man. One, he pulled one straight to deep square leg. And key wickets. He's a big wicket for them. So the point, and why I like Zach's point is, are you proactive enough? Which basically means, are you ready to bring him in the first 3 or 4 overs? Not wait for him to, get set. Once he gets set, he's a different player. Yes. That fear of probably hitting the ball is even lesser. At the start, he is vulnerable. Yeah, I mean, vulnerable, because he's worried about getting hit, getting runs. Everything is there in his mind. So it's a great point. As a captain, these are the moments that you need to seize. I'm sure that off-spinner is there in their mind, 2 left-handers, but also Mark Wood is a great matchup, not only to Head, but to Warner as well. But on the other hand, David Willey has bowled well, but his pace is ideal for both these guys because they just thrive on that pace.
True, absolutely. We'll just remind our viewers again, the 2 teams, because Australia has those 2 forced changes. Let's have a look at Australia's playing 11 first. Cam Green comes in, like DK laughed and said that Cricbuzz wants him at number 3, so we'll wait and see if he bats at number 3. And Stoinis also comes in because Mitch Marsh had to be out and Glenn Maxwell had to be out. And let's also have a look at England's playing 11. No changes there, no surprises also. They've backed their playing 11. So we'll see if England can finally come in and play like the world champions that they were in 2019. But I would just quickly like to see the score of the previous match because that is a knockout game. We were watching the match before we came in. Both Williamson fell short of his 195. Rachin Ravindra got out on 108. But 318 for 3 at 41. Zach, It's a very, very important game for New Zealand and Pakistan, but New Zealand's really come and played very strongly right now.
And very, very strong position for New Zealand. 318 in 41 overs, 9 overs still to go. Shows that New Zealand can actually take Pakistan out of this game if they go anywhere close to 400.
DK, I can go on and on because Williamson's just come back after that fractured thumb and he's played like nothing's changed, nothing's broken, and Rachin Ravindra looking so good. But I know if you talk about the next match, just quickly on Williamson.
He's a genius. I'm telling you, it is so hard to get hit and then come back and play like nothing has happened. A, he has to take care of his finger. B, you have to understand, it just come after a ACL surgery. These are physical deficiencies and these are hard to get over. The man comes and bats like, he's just been playing consistently. And for me, that is genius par excellence. And, Kane Williamson, I can speak a half an hour show about him. But for the moment, just showing why he is so good yet again.
Yet again, we can have a half an hour show on Rachin Ravindra as well. But how impressive has he been?
For Rachin Ravindra, all I'll say is in the month of December, you will be a richer man. I'll stop there.
Well, DK said this at least like 4 times on the show. I'm very curious to see how much Rachin Ravindra goes for. Clearly, there'll be people up for grabs big time.
We're hoping. Look, yes. I'm not actually, to be very honest, I haven't really looked at the IPL teams and see where he can fit in. Then I can probably give a better figure. But I just feel the way he's playing, the whole skill set that he has, the young boy that he is, feels like he's a player where teams will target. And generally, whoever does well in India just before the auction to go for a big prize. If you're a fast bowler, though, you'll fly through the roof. But I feel Rachin Ravindra has done well enough to, claim a stake.
His franchisee is not going to be happy about this.
They're not, right?
Yeah, they're
no,
like,
because
DK, you're just like, if they're going for him, then you just go and say, DK, what are you doing, man?
Getting me in trouble.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're like, telling Rachin is Sachin and he can bat, bowl, do everything. So it's going to be...
I'm just thinking, as Zach says, whether he'll fit into my team. I don't know. Let's leave it. We'll talk about that later.
No, but at Chinnaswamy, they were cheering RCB and Rachin. So, well, that's what was happening today when they were playing there. We'll just wait and watch because that's still December and that's still far away. But what is not far away is to answer now the exams that we face at Cricbuzz Live, and we don't have answers to in the studio, but you all have the answers. Let's have a look at the joy factor question of the day. Well, Joyda is not here, so I have to try and read this in one string without stammering. But what connects India's test match in Bangalore against New Zealand on 18-10-1995 and India's T20 clash against Australia at Sydney on 1st Feb 2012? Any guesses? Because, well...
No guesses.
Zach is clear. He doesn't want to try. DK?
Actually, no. I'll tell you this. I thought for a second there was one game, I think it was a concussion sub. So Jadeja got hit on the head. So Yuzvendra Chahal came in and became man of the match. But that was in Canberra, if I'm right. But Sydney, I don't know.
No, but he's at least got the connection right. That much I can tell you.
No, Zach. You think so?
No, the question is around concussion because there are injuries right now going on. Maxwell got injured.
Could be interesting.
I can just tell you that how Joyda thinks.
Okay, let's see if we've at least managed to crack if we know how Joyda thinks. But Zach, I don't think you've got even that right today. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah?
No. I've just been told that is not what Joyda is thinking today.
Okay.
So, we can try another day. That's all we can do. But what we're going to do now is the guessing game. DK and Zach, I won a guessing game finally on Cricbuzz Live day before yesterday.
So then you start today, please. What is your number?
Okay, I will start today. I'm going to go with 338.
338. Zach?
I'm going to go 350, I think.
297.
That's a bit conservative. With Travis Head
Big
and...
ground. Travis Head also has to come good. He can get out.
No, I mean, he's...
Two new players. I have my own calculation. I feel the middle order is not firing so much. We'll wait and see.
Clearly, DK spent a lot of time in England this summer. We know who he's backing today. But we'll wait and watch and see if we manage to come as a team get this right. Because we are again competing with the Hindi studio today. So let's at least get it as a team right. There's too much to do right now because there are 2 games going on. So we are going to take your leave and watch both the games simultaneously. And of course, eat our food. But you all please join us at the 15-hour point at the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you soon.